Hey guys, we are the Mid Champions. In today's video, we'll be talking about tips and tricks to identify real and fake Pokemon cards so that we can avoid being scammed in 2025 and to save a lot of money. And as we all know, Pokemon has been growing in popularity with the new set Surging Sparks and the new set to come Prismatic Evolution. Pokemon has probably been at the highest peak it has ever been in popularity, and with this, it actually gives an opportunity for a bunch of people to start creating and selling fake products or counterfeit items as real products. And even though people who have been experienced in the hobby and have been around a long time can usually accurately determine if a product is fake pretty easily, I feel like people who are joining the hobby for the first time and wants some nice products and some nice singles may find it a little difficult to determine if products are really real or fake. So in this video, I want to discuss some tips and tricks that you can look out for to know that you are getting the value that you deserve for your money. So as we take a look down below, you'll see that I have two Pokemon cards. One is real and one is fake. And at the first glance, it's kind of, you would say both are actually real. Like, they look pretty authentic to me. So I think this is why it's kind of hard and why people get tricked a lot into buying fake Pokemon cards. But with these tips and tricks that I'm about to tell you, it'll be pretty easy to know if your cards are fake. And just for a little game, comment down in the comments which card you think is real and which card you think is fake. Okay, now let's actually get started. Alright, so usually most of the time for more expensive cards, such as SIRs, illustration rares, and I guess even EXs and Vs, the card itself has a lot of texture. And in terms of texture, I'm talking about when you touch sandpaper, you can feel the rigid, I guess, components of the sandpaper. And usually with more expensive cards or I guess more illustration, full arts and stuff like that, you can actually feel the texture on the front of the cards. Fake cards are usually really bad at this because fake cards are made pretty cheaply and they just print it on the card or the piece of cardboard. So usually most of the time, if they don't have texture, it's a big indicator of why the cards could be fake. So for our second tip that I want to talk about, it's kind of hard to show on camera because the camera can't really focus on it. But if you turn the card, I guess 90 degrees, 45 degrees, you'll actually see that there's a thin white line in between the cards, like right there. And in between the white lines, for a real Pokemon card, you will see a thin black line. The black line is actually the ink that the Pokemon company uses to print the Pokemon cards. So all real Pokemon cards will have this thin black line. It's easier to look at it with a flashlight or probably outside under a clear light. And if there is no ink, then it's probably a big indicator that the card is fake. And for my third tip, I usually don't recommend this if you're buying expensive single card, but if you're buying a collection and say there are some cheap cards in there that don't necessarily matter or have any inherent value to you, I would recommend the rip test. Now what the rip test is, you're essentially ripping the card to see if there is a black line to show that there is ink for the real cards. Fake cards will almost never have this black line, so it's really easy to tell through the rip test if the cards are real or fake. So, performing the rip test, when you get the selected bus, you can either tear the corners like this. You'll see, like right there, that there is black ink, showing that the card is real. It's really up to your preference of how you want to rip the cards. For me, like cards like this, I don't really care about too much. So it's fine if I just rip it like this. And as you can tell, the card is real. There's a black ink on both sides. I would recommend doing this for people who buy entire collections just to check like the cheap cards, because majority of the time in collection, all the cards are fake. So if like even a cheap card is fake, usually there's a big indicator that the rest of the cards are probably fake. And moving on, as you can tell, for this card, if you rip it down in the middle, there is no ink whatsoever. Okay, so this is the fake card, and this is the real card. You see the difference between the two? The fake card over here, has no ink, while the real card, the Like the Buzz over here, has black ink when you rip it. This is a really easy indicator, but it does require you to rip your cards. Okay, so for the fourth tip, we actually need to go in a dark location, and you need a flashlight, preferably your phone flashlight because it's the most convenient. For dark locations, I just recommend going to your bathroom, just turning the lights off and closing the door. For this test, you're going to be putting your phone flashlight up to the card or to the back of the card, and you're going to see where the light shines through the card to see if there's tiny black ink marks everywhere, okay? I'm going to turn the lights off so my face is going to disappear for a little, just to show you what I'm trying to say. As you can see here, the fake card has no traces of black dots anywhere on the card. This shows that there's actually no ink at all on the card. For the real card, for Like the Buzz I tore earlier, if you press it up on there, you can see that these tiny little black dots everywhere are on the card. This shows that there's actual ink behind the Pokemon cards and that the cards are real. Let me show you. Let me show you better. You see those black dots everywhere? Yeah, I see these black dots everywhere. This shows that the card is real. I'm gonna show you the Charizard real quick. You can see, just nothing anywhere. It just shines bright through, no black dots at all. I'm gonna show you the Like the Buzz one more time. You can see, there's black dots everywhere on the card, showing that real ink is used on real Pokemon cards. So my fifth tip, it doesn't really have anything to do with the Pokemon card itself. It's more of a precaution from where you're buying your cards from and I guess what platforms you're using. I know many of us use Facebook Marketplace for local deals, eBay, TCG Player, and all of those platforms to buy online. My precaution is when a deal looks too good, I necessarily wouldn't take it, only because there's probably something suspicious with that listing. I mean, like if I guess a card is going for $300 and a person's selling for $100, it doesn't make that much sense on why the buyer would sell the card at $100 when they can get $200 more. Sometimes you'll look out, but just to take a precaution and to keep your money safe, I would recommend that you avoid listings like those. And to add on that, when you're just buying Pokemon cards in general for a high price, actually even for a small price ranging from 0 to whatever amount of Pokemon cards you're buying, I would always recommend not Zelling if it's for a large transaction, or not using Venmo, Cash App, or anything you guys may use, only because there's no level of buyer protections for any of those transaction services. What I learned from getting scammed actually is that it's better to use PayPal goods and services and actually pay for that extra fee just so that you can have that buyer protection. So in case things go south, you have a way to get your money back. If the seller disagrees by saying that they don't have a PayPal set up, that they are banned on PayPal, or that their funds are on hold, I think it's just best to avoid that transaction, because one, it shows that the seller's too lazy to actually set up a PayPal so that you can have a safety on your purchase, or two, the seller actually knows about PayPal goods and services buyer's protection, so they want to avoid that so they can actually scam you. And three, I mean, they don't lose any money because you're paying the goods and services fee, so they really have nothing to lose. Well, I guess they have something to lose if they're scamming you. So my, I guess, like speech and like my most important thing is, like, when you're doing transactions, make sure that you're using some kind of transaction service that has buyer protection so that you can avoid getting scammed. Well, I guess you can't avoid getting scammed, but you can avoid losing all your money, basically. And for other Pokemon products, such as sealed products, slabs, or even things such as like vintage products, the tips and tricks that I actually recommended earlier in the video basically apply to everything that I just listed. The biggest one is just being like, if you are going to end up meeting someone and it's more of an expensive sealed product or vintage sealed product, I would recommend meeting up at a local car shop, and the local car shop would probably be more than happy to help you identify if the product is real. And if you guys can't do that, or there's no local car shop near you guys, I just always recommend actually just using a transaction service like PayPal that has buyer protection. Because like I said earlier, later down the line when you discover that your products are fake, I know PayPal has around 180 days to file a claim against the seller if the product is fake. And I didn't want to keep this video too long because I know many of you guys have a busy day, so that pretty much sums up the tips and tricks to know if your cards are real or fake. If you like the video, like and subscribe, and thank you.